Is camera remote movable? That one remote movable. Okay. 15 years back, we need 3 cameramen.
Yeah, I put the camera.
Now, no cameraman. Only you operating.
Yeah.
Technology change. This small cobra in 6 scales. Yeah.
Close that one. How's it look like? দেখলে আর নাই না না হবে না হবে
Do you have the charger here? Any? And our the one Your wife.
Okay.
আগে আগে চেয়ারে বসলে আমি আমি ডাকবো, নাম ধরে ডাকবো, ওটা সবচেয়ে বেটার। করিম আগে বসবেন না ডাকবো। এই যে জানালাম ভাই, ওরে রাহান ভাই, ওই যে রাহান ভাই, ওই যে রাহান ভাই, ওই যে রাহান ভাই, সুতম যে কল রাহান ভাই। রাহান ভাই জানবো, রাহান ভাইকে ডাকেন না, রাহান ভাই কই? Hello, everyone. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. This is Tipu Chaudhuri, President, Chittagong University Alumni Association of USA, and the Member Secretary, Chittagong University Alumni Association of USA, then Convention 2024-25 Boston. This is my great pleasure to invite all of you here. I'm so grateful to all of you. The first, I'd like to say something. It is pre-scripted, but before that, this is our second convention. You know, the Chittagong University Alumni Association of USA. There are more than, right now, more than 10th, right, 10th, yeah, more than 10th state. We have different alumni. They just came to here. I'm sorry to say most of the people there on the street right now, they're coming from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Washington, and there is some incident on the road, so they said they're late. But we have to start right now. I'm sorry about that. And for total late, I'd like to say sorry again, everyone. Today, this is our second convention, and the seminar is occasional. You know, the sustainable quality education, the building an equitable future for all, organized by Chittagong University Alumni Association of USA, the host state, Chittagong University Alumni Association of USA, Massachusetts. This is our great pleasure. I'd like to say our today, the program seminars scheduled today. And I'd like to go introduce, I'd like to call first our, the program session presider and president of Chittagong University Alumni Association of USA and chairman of this convention, Mr. Raihanul Islam Chaudhuri. Please welcome. I'd like to call Mr. Raihanul Islam Chaudhuri. Please have a round of applause, Mr. Raihanul Chaudhuri. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce and then call our the seminar moderator, Professor Khandakar Karim, DVS CPA, and he's the Director of Research and the Meaning School of Business, UMass. We are so happy to see him here, and I'd like to welcome him cordially and with a warm and have a round of applause, Mr. Karim. We have here the keynote speaker, the Professor Shafiqul Islam, the Director of Water Diplomacy Program, Director, Data-Driven Decision-Making at Tufts, Civil and Environmental Engineering, Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy, Tufts University. Welcome, sir. I'd like to, please come on the stage and you can just, please, yeah, have to have a seat. Thank you. I'd like to invite the Professor Abu Tahir, the former Vice Chancellor of Chittagong University. Thank you, sir, for coming to join us here. I'd like to invite our honorable the guest speaker and the panelist, Dr. Sultan Chaudhuri, CPA, IT and Infrastructure Specialist, USA. You are welcome, sir. I'd like to invite Professor Assam Nasrul Qadir, the Vice Chancellor of Premier University, Bangladesh. You're very welcome, sir. I'd like to, the brief is very short. Today we have the panel discussion and the target question answer. The moderator, Professor Khandakar Karim, I already told, and the topic is sustainable quality education in Bangladesh, digital transformation versus rural access, innovative financing the models, the curriculum reform for global and local needs. The topic B, academia industry linkage, curriculum co-design for skills, policy reforms for sustainable partnership, and infrastructure and faculty development. Topic C, higher education challenges and opportunities, job market alignment and in AI, digital fields, governance and research improvements, public, private, and international collaboration, and the call for action or closing remarks, and the vote of thanks. Now, I have to say something. Thank you so much for time and listening me. I'd like to say something on behalf of my my alumni. There are a lot of guests coming. Please welcome. Thank you, everyone. Dear distinguished guests, the esteemed speakers, respected alumni and the cherished friends, good evening, and a very warm welcome to this monumentous the gathering of minds and hearts. Today, as we stand united under the banner of our alma mater, Chido University, we are not just celebrating our shared past, we are shaping a sustainable future. It is both an honor, a privilege to stand before such an accomplished gathering. Educators, policymakers, industry leaders, and visionaries, all united by a common mission to reimagine education as a force of equity, innovation, and the global progress. This evening's theme, Sustainable Quality Education, Building an Equitable Future for All, speaks to the very core of our collective responsibility. In a world of the rapid transformation, education remains the most powerful catalyst of change. And as alumni of Chido University, we carry the touch of illuminate pathways of the next generation. Before I proceed, I extend my deepest gratitude to our keynote speaker, panelists, and moderators. Your insights will light the way forward. To our organizing team, your dedication made this convention possible, and to each of you, your presence turns dialogue into action. Let us engage tonight, not just an attendance, but as architects of change. The conversation we ignite here will ripple across borders, inspiring solutions in Bangladesh and beyond. With that, I invite you to listen actively, question bodily, and collaborate fearlessly. The future of education begins with us here, now. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to invite the former president of Chido University Alumni Association, USA, Massachusetts, and the convener of this convention, Chido University Alumni USA, Convention 2024-25 Boston. I'd like to invite Mohammed Jani Alam. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Shaifur Rahman Chaudhary, Tipu, Member Secretary of this convention. And also it is my great pleasure to welcome everybody on us today's Harvard University seminar. And thanks to everybody to join with us. Distinguished guests, respected alumni, dear friends and well-wishers, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good evening to you all. At the very outset of this gathering, I would like to express on behalf of all of us here our deepest condolences to the victims of the recent tragic air crash in Uttara Dhaka. Mourn the loss of innocent lives, students, teachers, and fellow citizens, and extend our heartiest sympathies to their families. May the Almighty Allah grant peace to the defeated souls and aftermath to those left behind. Now, with a sense of gratitude and joy, I extend a very warm welcome to each and every one of you to this meaningful seminar and sustainable quality education, building an equitable future for all. I sincerely thank you all for being here today. Your presence is what gives life and purpose to this occasion. I take this opportunity to express my heartfelt thanks to our chairman, Mr. Ravindra Chaudhary, to our member secretary, Mr. Shaifur Rahman Chaudhary, Tipu, and all respected presidents from other state and respected alumni members and all Massachusetts, all my dear alumni members I'd like to thanks to everybody and also journalists and also guests again. Let me also thank every volunteer, well-wishers, and contributor, those visible and those behind the scenes who played a role in making this event possible. It is truly a collective success. I would also like to extend our sincere thanks to the authority of Harvard University for graciously allowing us to use this beautiful and prestigious hall for our seminar. It is an honor for us to hold this important event in such a strict and esteemed institution. We all know that last year's convention had to be postponed due to unfortunate and very difficult circumstances. It was a painful decision, but unavoidable at the time. However, by the grace of Almighty Allah and with the unwavering support and cooperation of all of you, we have been able to come together this year and not only convene the event but see it follows. Now, a few words about today's seminar topic. Education has always been a cornerstone of the national development, and today, more than ever, the emphasis and quality and equity in education is absolutely essential. Without it, the future remains uncertain, not just for individuals, but for nations as a whole. This seminar, therefore, touches on subject that is both urgent and timeless. We are honored to have with us a distinguished panel of speakers, paper presenters, and moderators who will guide us through this discussion and valuable insight. I thank each of them for their time, their thought, and their presence. I hope that the idea and reflection shared today will not just remain in this room, but will contribute in shaping educational planning and policy back home, where it is needed the most. Before I close, let me say once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your participation, your encouragement, and your continued love for Chile University and our greater community. Let this evening be beginning of many fruitful dialogues, renewed and friendship and shared vision. Thank you, everybody. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Muhammad Janalam. Sir, thank you so much for your the valuable speech. Now I'd like to request and invite our honorable, the chairman of this convention, Rahanul Islam Chaudhuri, and he's the president of Chile University Alumni Association of USA, and he's on the climate activist and the social worker and our leader. Rahanul Islam Chaudhuri, have a big applause.
Thank you, Tipu Chaudhary, for good introduction. And also thank you, Janaram Bhai, for a good speech on behalf of the convention and also on behalf of Chittagong University Alumni Association, USA, Massachusetts. I'm going to speak a little bit about this program and about our organization a little bit. Chittagong University Alumni Association of USA, we formed about in 2017. The goal is basically all alumni and ex-students living in USA, so we can communicate with each other and meet each other at least once or every other year. And in this process, we can help our university, our beloved university that we graduated from or we attended. And the reason we choose the Massachusetts chapter for this convention is they are very active. In addition to that, the Harvard University is known to the whole world. And if we do conduct a seminar here, it will be helpful to our university at the same time. So our two-phase goal, one is basically get together all the alumni in the United States once a year or every other year. At the same time, we help as an alumni our University of Chittagong and in their planning for the future and whatever they need something in the future. And we also help them, university from 2020, set up the clinic for COVID-19 and what have you. I don't want to go over that detail, but I do welcome all of the guests here, all of the alumni, ex-students, and all the panelists here for their time here. And I do welcome you. I want to mention housekeeping things. Our program is on live right now. So if any of us here watching on their mobile phone live, please make sure you turn off the sound because it will create an echo in the live program. Once again, I welcome you all. Thank you very much. And we start the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, we'd like to start our seminar, and then before that, I'd like to very short briefing of our the moderator and our keynote speaker. And the first, I'd like to introduce. I'd like to say something about Professor Shafiq Islam. Professor Shafiq Islam is a distinguished professor of engineering and a professor of water diplomacy at the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts University in Boston, USA. He's the founding director of the Water Diplomacy Program. Born in Bangladesh, Dr. Islam graduated from Fozdarat Cadet College and stood the first in the combined merit list of all groups. He earned his Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering by securing the first class with honors from the Bangladesh University of Engineering Technology, BUET. He was a lecturer in BUET and later moved to United States for graduate studies. He earned his Doctor of Science from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. Dr. Islam's expertise spans engineering diplomacy, water and climate challenges, negotiation and consensus building, and sustainable development. His pragmatic approach emphasizes developing actionable knowledge through a synthesis of theory and practice. He aims to design solutions at the scientifically feasible and socially acceptable, ethically sound, and politically viable. As the founding director of the Water Diplomacy Program and Data-Driven Decision-Making at Tufts University, D3M Tufts, Dr. Islam maintaining a board network of national and international partnerships. His academic consulting and training initiatives have a global reach, impacting the regions across the United States, South Asia, Africa, China, and the Middle East. He is a fellow of American Geological Union and server as an editor for high-impact journals like Water Resources Research and Close Complexity Systems. He was the Dean of Engineering at Tufts University and managed over US $20 million in research with multiple US and international agencies and institutions. He advises the US National Science and Foundation as a chair of the Advisory Committee for International Science and Engineering and BUET, as a board of governors for RISE BUET, RISE RISE BUET. In 2025-26, he has been named a Harvard Radcliffe Fellow. Dr. Islam received numerous accolades, including the Prince Sultan bin Abdulaziz International Water Prize for Creativity and the Fulbright Scholarship. He has authored over 100 referred publications, and 5 books of water diplomacy. With his first book translated into Chinese by the Science Press of China, his research and insights have been featured by major media outlets such as the BBC World Service, New York Times, Voice of America, Boston Globe, the Daily Star, Huffington Post, and the 660 Info Box, Nature, and E360. For more, there are a lot of things. This is very short. We'd like to welcome our keynote speaker, Dr. Shafiq, and I'd like to say something about our the seminar moderator, Khandakar Karim. This is very short. Khandakar Karim has strong academic and administrative experience. He's a professor of accounting and has also been serving as the director of an external business and community engagement at the Manning School of Business. Karim has published articles in various referred journals, including Accounting Organizations and Society, AOS, Behavioral Research in Accounting, BRIA, Journal of Accounting and Public Policy, JAPP, Journal of Business, Finance and Accounting, JBFA, Corporate Governance and International Review, CGIR, Journal of Corporate Finance, Accounting Horizons, Journal of Accounting, Auditing and Finance, Managerial Auditing Journal, Review of Quantitative Finance and Accounting. Currently, the service as the editor of Advanced in Accounting Behavioral Research. Karim served as president of Northeast AAA and IMA Boston. He's currently serving on the AAA Council as the Northeast representative. Karim has served at the Council of the American Accounting Association. At present, he is one of the 75 academic champions of AICPA. He received his doctorate from Edgerson School of Accountancy in Mississippi State University, MSA from Eastern Michigan University, and MCOM and BCom honors from the University of Dhaka. Let's have a round of applause of these two talents. Now, I know there are millions of the Bangladeshi and the Bangladeshi brothers and sisters watching this program, and might be very soon they're going to see this program in your social media. Now, I'd like to say something from my mother tongue. বাংলায় বলতে চাই। আজকের এই সেমিনার আমাদের কনভেনশনের একটা অংশ হলো 2024 সালে আমাদের আয়োজন করার কথা ছিল। রায়হান ইসলাম চৌধুরী আমাদের চেয়ারম্যান, তিনি বলেছিলেন আমরা বিভিন্ন সেমিনারে যাই এবং বিভিন্ন দেশের বিভিন্ন যারা স্কলার যারা আছেন তাদের কথা আমরা শুনি, এবং আমাদের দেশের যেসব স্কলার পুরো আমেরিকাতে সারা বিশ্বে ছড়িয়ে আছেন তাদেরকে সম্ভবত আমরা কম শুনি, শুনতে অপ্রীতিকর হলেও কথাটা সত্যি। তিনি বলেছেন আমাদের সামনে যতগুলো সেমিনার হবে আমরা চেষ্টা করব তার মোস্ট অফ স্পিকার্স এবং প্যানেলিস্ট আমাদের বাংলাদেশি স্কলাররা, আমরা সেটাই আজকে করেছি। এবং নট অনলি দ্যাট, বাংলাদেশ থেকে যা চট্টগ্রাম বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় আমাদের ফর্মার ভাইস চ্যান্সেলর এসছেন, আমাদের প্রিমিয়ার ইউনিভার্সিটি থেকে এসছেন, আমাদের এখানে ডক্টর সুলতান এসছেন, আমাদের আরো একজন ভাইস চ্যান্সেলর ইভাইস এবং আইভির ভাইস চ্যান্সেলর, তিনি আজকে আসতে পারেন নাই, ওনার মেয়ে অসুস্থ। এবং বাংলাদেশ থেকে যারা দেখছেন নতুন প্রজন্মের, গত বছর চট্টগ্রাম বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় থেকে 43 জন ছাত্রছাত্রী ইউএসএ তে এসেছেন পড়াশোনা করার জন্য। এটা আমাদের জন্য তো আনন্দের সংবাদ। আমরা এই সেমিনারের মাধ্যমে বাংলাদেশকে এবং বাংলাদেশের যারা রাষ্ট্র পরিচালনা করেন এবং করবেন তাদেরকে জানাতে চাই আমরা অ্যালামনাই অ্যাসোসিয়েশন, আমাদের ব্যক্তিগত অভিমত, আদর্শ এবং সমর্থন বিভিন্ন হতে পারে, কিন্তু আমাদের সবার কাছে আমাদের প্রিয় দেশ এক। আমাদের এই দেশের জন্য, দেশের মানুষের জন্য, আমাদের দেশের শিক্ষা এবং আমাদের দেশের মৌলিক বিষয়গুলোর জন্য আমাদের অগ্রযাত্রার অভিযাত্রা চলবে অনন্তকাল, আমরা যতদিন থাকবো। আপনাদের সবাইকে স্বাগত। Now I'd like to hand over the session the only bride one, Professor Dr. Karim. You are very welcome, sir. The moderator of this seminar. Thank you, sir. You're very welcome. Thank you, sir.
So before I invite the keynote to the podium, I will say a few things about the sustainable education, which is the main theme of the convention today here. So my name, as you know, my name is Khandakar Karim. I will be moderating the keynote and the panel discussion titled Sustainable Quality Education Building on, sorry. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
uh, building on equitable future for all. It is my great pleasure to welcome everyone in today's panel and also the keynote, where we will examine the critical topics of sustainable education. Education is the foundation of progress, but as we confront global challenges like climate change, social inequality, and rapid technology change, we must ask, how can education adapt, serve both current and future generations? How do we ensure that learning is inclusive, equitable, and eco-friendly? Today, we are honored to welcome an outstanding panel of experts, educators, policymakers, innovators, advocates who will share their insights, experiences, and visions for a more sustainable future in education. This discussion is not just about theory, it is about practical strategies, collaborative solutions, and the role each of us can play in shaping resilient, adaptable, and fair education systems. Before we start, I want to encourage everyone to participate actively, whether you are here in person or joining online for the program. We will have time for Q&A later from the floor. Without further delay, let me introduce our panelists. So we have Professor Abu Tahir, former VC, Chittagong University. Mr. Matthew Rahman, Additional Secretary, retired, Minister of Education, Government of Bangladesh. Raihanul Islam Chaudhry, he's a Chittagong University, USA President. Dr. Sultan Chaudhry, CPA IT Infrastructure Specialist, USA. And Professor Nasrul Kader, a VC Premier University in Bangladesh. Let's dive into our first question. Do you have any questions on this? No, right? So now it is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Saiful Islam. Thank you so much.
একটু বদলে কিন্তু এটা পাওয়ার পয়েন্টটা অন করতে হবে জি চলে গেল কথা
I think, please, come on.
We can access this mic over the side so that we can just talk. This is a wireless, yeah, this guy.
Finish in 20 minutes and then 10 minutes, yeah.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম কথা শোনা যাচ্ছে or is এখন শোনা যাচ্ছে না অলরাইট গুড কি বললেন একটু কম শোনা যাচ্ছে লেটস মেক শিওর I think this should work, I think. Assalamu alaikum. And thank you very much really for inviting me. Although I'm not directly related to Chittagong University, but I have a lot of roots in Chittagong. I'll tell you a little bit. So what we basically, I want to emphasize to the idea of quality education is what I titled my talk as From Birth to Classroom to Career. And how do you build something that is sustainable? And thank you very much, Tipu, for a very long and somewhat basically embarrassing introduction for me.
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me. And so, as you can see, really, so this is primarily the focus is on education, and that's what I'll try to do. And I am a professor here at Tufts University, and I've been teaching for almost 40 years now. So, what is my route to Chittagong? So, I was born in Chittagong, to start with. So then I went to cadet college, and so all my basically siblings were born in there. So we have been there for a long time. And there are other routes also in Chittagong, and so I'll give you some of the stories as we go along. So what do I mean basically from birth to classroom to career? Essentially, that's the progression really. We get born and then we go to school and then we have a career, and that's the way it works out. So how do you create a workforce for Bangladesh that is basically sustainable, that is going to have access to everyone? So that's the key goal. So here, as you were listening to some of the earlier conversation, that we want to find out a way that a country like Bangladesh is a developing country. How can it make its education accessible? So what are some of the numbers? If you look at this pyramid, so this is a pyramid that is used for each country. And Bangladesh is a very interesting country. As you can see, really, the people at the bottom is too many. There are too many young people, and people at the top are very few. If you are 65 or older, there are less than 4% people in Bangladesh is 65 or older. That is an advantage, because this has created a basically significant advantage for us during COVID. COVID, we had less mortality because we had fewer older people. In this country, it was much higher. If you look at the US, really, US 65 and older is probably about 25% of the people. In Bangladesh, it's only 4%. So that's one difference. In Bangladesh, for example, in the first 0 to 4 years, we have almost like about 5 million people. So how many people are really born in Bangladesh, really? 3 million borns per year. 3 million, so basically per year. And if you compare that with the US is about 350 million, about double the size. US is basically producing about 4 million children. And we are 3 million. Although Bangladesh has a very good fertility rate in terms of the global standard, still is pretty high. So 3 million people are born. How many people goes to high school? Basically, when you finish your high school certificate, meaning intermediate, about 1.25. So already we have lost 1.75. This 1.75 million will never go to college, never go to even finish high school. So every year, we're essentially eliminating 1.75 million people. So now if I ask you really, how many of these 1.25 million are going to college? Any guess? What is the number? Because 1.25 million is basically going for higher secondary exam, whatever we call this class 12 or intermediate, whatever the name is. So now if I ask you a question, since we're all basically somehow related to Bangladesh, what would be your guess? Half a million. 40%. 40%. So basically, yeah, 40% maybe about somewhere between 500 to 600,000 people. Now, if you actually look at these, there are 107 private institutions and 53 public institutions. So Chittagong University, for example, since you're the alumni, Chittagong University is enrolling 29,000 students right now. Dhaka University, 37,000. Buet, 7. Bragg, 20,000. Chittagong College, 18,000. Feni Polytechnic, 1,200. Now, if you look at this really overall, then there is not even enough colleges to take this 1.25 million that they're going to the high school. It's not there. So we just do not have enough capacity really in the education sector itself. We'll talk about quality later. So even if they want to go to college, they cannot. That brings us to something else really then. In 2025, the whole idea of this quota for the government jobs, there are only 18,000 government jobs. 18,000 government jobs, those were advertised at the BCS cadre. 18,000 for 3 million people. So for 3 million people, we're only having 18,000 government jobs. So there are private sector jobs, there are other jobs. Now, what can we do? So that is the question I'll try to pose. And in doing so, really, as you have heard from people also, that my focus really primarily in actionable knowledge. What I mean by that really, just knowledge itself is not very useful. What do I do with that knowledge? Can that knowledge be useful? And how can it be? So that brings us to basically challenge 1. So I'll just talk about two challenges, and then I'm sure there are many, and then you can discuss those in the panel. The first one is there is a mismatch between education and market needs. We are educating people, but they're not getting jobs. Why are not they getting the jobs? One idea that would be the skills that we are producing, that skill has nothing to do with the actual job market. Like skill like critical thinking, skill like transferable skill. By transferable skills, what I mean really, can we teach them something that can be transferred? Like for example, I was a civil engineer really when I graduated from Loeb. Right now, what I do has nothing to do with civil engineering at all. So I'm doing something which is called engineering diplomacy, and I'll tell you in a second. So how did that happen? How did that happen over the last 40 years that I have transformed myself from an engineer to something basically somewhere in between? And I tell my kids really basically, I have two daughters that look, I think if somebody can write your job description, you just don't have it. If somebody can write it, then AI will take over. So you have to create a set of skills. Those are not simply can be written. If you can written something basically algorithmically, then computer can do better than us. Simple, as simple as that. So that is a problem. That if we want to create a Bangladeshi workforce, that workforce must be in a way that it is transferable. It's not the type of skill that can be just learned from physics or chemistry. To give you an example, when I first came to this country, 5 of the largest companies right now exist. They are not there, including Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Amazon. They were not there. See, in 40 years, even the country like the US has created companies. Those are $4 trillion. Yesterday, Microsoft exceeded $4 trillion in market cap. It did not exist when I came to this country. So this is the type of basically skill that we'll need really, that is growing so fast that the conventional education is not going to work. So the second challenge I see that there is an unequal access. What that means really is rural-urban divide. For example, think about basically a village that I come from. In that village, who is going to teach English? We just simply do not have the right basically teacher because they will not be there. If somebody is good in English, they'll come to Dhaka or they'll basically leave the country. So who is teaching them? So as a result, what is happening that there is a significant problem even in the teachers that we have to teach the children. Forget about that, whether they have access. Even if they have access, really, they do not have the right teacher to teach them. So that brings us to this whole idea that I call about engineering diplomacy. What does this have to do with really what I am talking about education? How does this fit in? How do I apply this engineering diplomacy framework really to something that Bangladesh can do in education? What I consider that this is to be a much broader spectrum. So in March, really, I was invited by BOET really to go. So we're creating a center of excellence in engineering diplomacy in BOET, involving many universities, private partnership with public partnership, NGOs, anyone from basically government, non-government. So the idea is that to create a workforce that can work in multiple dimensions, and we'll see really what that looks like. So when I talk about engineering diplomacy, I'm talking about a type of student who will be able to solve problems. That problem could be really in energy, it could be in food, it could be in climate change, it could be in public health. It really does not matter. What matters really is how do you approach the problem, and that we'll talk about that in a second. So what it needs really then, I said that there is a synthesis that is needed, that is between principles and pragmatism. So what is principles? In Bangla, this is called ন্যায় এবং নীতি. তো ন্যায় হচ্ছে যেমন কোরআন শরীফে ন্যায় কথা বলা আছে কিন্তু it doesn't talk about নীতি. নীতি comes from the Sharia. So we have to make a distinction what is the moral principles and what is the pragmatic implementation. For example, the thinnest book I have on my shelf is the US Constitution. But I have 9 Supreme Court judges and maybe 3,000 volumes just on taxes. That's Sharia. That is not the Constitution. Constitution gives you the principles, then you use them in a pragmatic way by creating laws. So we need to basically create a synthesis between these two. Then I said that then you need to talk about scientific and social facts. What is scientific facts? Scientific facts is something that can be verified. Social facts is something totally different. Social facts would be like, for example, that we think that basically Bill Gates is putting some chip in the vaccine. That was a predominant idea really in the US during COVID. They thought that basically Gates is putting in some chip in the vaccine so that he can track everybody. Nobody bothered to even test it. So this is exactly what the social facts are. But social facts we simply cannot ignore. Social facts is real. So we need to understand that how do I combine these two to create an education system. That brings us to what is possible to actionable. And I will talk about that. What does that mean? So when I say possible to actionable, this is, I sometimes write also in the daily start. So a few years ago, I wrote this. Bangladesh really is a riverine country. Almost everybody knows how to swim. Bangladesh has not created a single Olympic swim so far. But Bangladesh has created a world-class cricket team. How did he do it? So there are a lot of things that are possible, but not actionable. We all know how to swim. How come we are not becoming basically an Olympic swimmer? But we created something in cricket. How did we do this? This is exactly what we want to look at really. What is possible versus what is actionable. There are a lot of things which are possible, but doesn't mean that everything will be actionable. That brings us to basically this idea. Then I'll talk about three things. And I'm calling this three riddles. What is 1 + 1? Where is X? And how do I find the 18th camel? What I want you to remember really when you're thinking about any problem, and I argue really that if you think about these three, you should be able to address almost any problem. This is an outrageous statement I'm making, but I want you to challenge me. It looks like you're not right really here. So what does that mean? So education in Bangladesh has to be problem focused. I need to find out a particular problem, then I need to create a process and then be solution oriented. So several years ago, we live in Boston, so we have a lot of privilege. So there was basically, I do not remember now, so it doesn't have to tell the name. So education minister and with a entourage of people came. So they said that, yeah, we want to do something in Bangladesh. So we had a long meeting really here, basically in Cambridge. So I suggested to something is very simple. I said, look, Bangladesh really does not have any boat making industry. Bangladesh has a lot of boats. If you go basically to any place, there are a lot of boats and they are using all kinds of basically motor from somewhere else. So why don't we basically create a polytechnic institute where we will be basically creating boats? You see, it's a very good idea, and I want to basically create polytechnic institute every district. There will be 64 of them. I said, brilliant. Start with the one with the boat. Has not been done. So if we want to be actionable, go and create basically a polytechnic institute that will specialize in making boats for Bangladesh. So that is what I call actionable. So why do I say 1 + 1? So if I ask you what is 1 + 1, and we'll get into this, and then why is that important? Then where is the intervention point? Meaning that where is that particular place I need to intervene so that I can get some outcome? And then I'll talk about something about an 18th camel. This is a story that comes from Middle East. So what is 1 + 1? This is a question. What is 1 + 1? 2. Yes, if you're a mathematician, it is 2. I think basically you can prove it that it is 2. But if you're an engineer, it may be something different. They may say it may be between 1.9 and 2.02 because they think about that there is an error because we cannot measure things properly. So there is a problem here because it's not exactly 2. And then if you are a stockbroker, say, are you buying or selling? And then if you are a social scientist, you say it depends. Are you really talking about 2 apples or 1 apple and 1 orange? So it's a problem. What this signifies is something very important. When we talk about education, really, we all have our own ideas. So there are many, many views. So this is 1 + 1 is a very simple mathematical problem. It still has that many views. Now, if you think about really what Bangladesh should focus on in education, I'm sure we'll have at least 160 million views. So there are 160 million people in Bangladesh. There are 8 billion of us really in the world. So everybody's opinion cannot be the same. But at the same time, then how do I know which one is better? That is exactly what is needed, why 1 + 1 is important. Before you start talking about all this education business, we need to first agree that what is important and why is this important, rather than everybody having their own voice. Although it is very important to have everybody to have their own voice, but not all voice can be counted similarly. That brings us to basically now the next one. What is the intervention point? So this intervention point has a very good story. The story basically comes from an engineer long time ago. He was a GE engineer, General Electric. So General Electric was having a lot of problems. They're having their turbine is failing, and each turbine costs about $1 million. So they called this guy, said, look, and come and have a look. And so they came, and then he basically looked around and then asked some questions. In about 15 minutes, he take a chalk and then put a mark there. He said, there are some words, you need to change them. So they changed the wire and turbine started working. Then a week later, they got a bill, it's $1,000. This was in 1920. So that $1,000 will translate to about $40,000 right now. So this guy worked for only an hour and he's charging $40,000. But at the same time, they were not sure really how to ask him. So they said, okay, please send us an itemized bill. So they sent an itemized bill. So he wrote down the cost of the chalk is $1. What to put the chalk mark is $999. Very brilliant. So this is exactly what the education we want. We want there's something that is that nobody else can do. You want to create basically a workforce that is very apt in certain things. So that is what we need to find out. What is the correct intervention point? My intervention point will be go and make a boat. That is what Bangladesh doesn't need really very fancy supercomputers. We don't have the resources to do it. We have resources to do something that is more useful. Then comes this idea of the 18th camel. So this is a camel really basically story come from Middle East. So there was a father really, he is an old man. He was almost in his deathbed. He had 3 sons. He said, look, I think I'll not be around probably for too long. So I want you to do some things because in Middle East really the older brother is the big one. So he will get half. The second brother will get a third and the third brother will get a ninth. And this is the way you should divide the camel. And then few weeks later, father passed away. Now they have to basically figure out how to do this. Now they have 17 camels and they wanted to divide it by half. This it doesn't work because then it will be 8.5. How do I do this? Then they thought maybe something is not right. So then there was one like engineer type. He said, why not we kill all the camel and then distribute the meat? That can be done. That can be fair. Then they thought, no, our father cannot be that dumb because he is a wise man. I'm sure he was thinking about something else. So they could not necessarily agree on. Then they found out in the next village, there is a lady who is wise, and they went to her. She said, look, this is the problem. We cannot solve it. And she said, yeah, this is a very complex problem. I really do not know, but I have an idea. Why don't you go home? Let me think about it over the night, and then I'll tell you. So next morning, they went back. They said, did you have an idea? He said, no, because it's a very complicated problem, but I have something I want to do. I want to give you one camel I have. Why don't you take it and then go? They said, wow, this is very nice. She could not even solve the problem. Now give us a camel. So she did. And then they're coming back home, walking back. Now they have 18 camel. Now they divide by 9, half, it becomes 9. By third, it becomes 6. So they said, wow, this is very interesting now. So I have half, then I have 6, and then I have 9, and I still have 1 camel left. So they said, wow, this is brilliant. So that means that 18 camel did not exist. This is what I call the basically creative option. The thing that does not exist right now. Can it exist? For example, if you think about AI did not exist in the way we know it 3 years ago. ChatGPT came 3 years ago. Now everybody talks about ChatGPT. This is what basically Bangladesh needs. It needs a type of education that can create that 18th camel, given the capacity and the constraint the country has. So again, then basically come to the change, basically my concluding slides. So this is what basically there's a mismatch. That mismatch has to be addressed. How we do this, basically go back to those 3 ideas. So here I want to tell you basically a story. So this is a story about Shuma. So who is Shuma? Shuma is basically a very small girl. She was basically 2 years old when I came to this country really. She was a basically child of my mother-in-law's. So she was very cute, and we were very impressed with Shuma. So we thought maybe Shuma should get an education. Her mother did not have an education. Her grandmother did not have an education. So we basically, everybody thought that she should get an education. So over time, Shuma basically went to Dhaka University, got a master's. So this is a daughter of a house worker who never had an education. Brilliant success. But it's very unfortunate right now Shuma doesn't work. Shuma is still in Dhaka and taking care of children because she could not get a job. So this is the education we do not want. It's not that she did not work hard. She did very well. So that story we need to remember. Just because I get an education doesn't mean that it's going to be employed. We need education that will basically serve purpose. So that brings us to basically the second one, that how do I change this? This is a very difficult problem. So here I would urge you to do the essentially is that, I don't know what happened here, but anyway, this one I'll skip. So essentially, whenever you're thinking about the problems, really, I would basically urge you to go back to those three things that I started with. The 1 + 1 is important because no matter what discussion you have to entertain multiple views. But all views cannot be the same. The question is at the beginning, you have to decide what views are going to be taken into consideration and why. Then you find out exactly what the intervention point is. Then you go and find out the 18th camera. And to do this, really, what I would argue that we need to go from possible to actionable. Remember this story, basically, Bangladesh does not have a swimmer, but has a cricket team. So it's not that we cannot do it, we can do it. The question is basically, can I put the resource in the right place? With that, really then identify few challenges. I only gave you two, you can come up with many. Then find out what the problem is. Within that challenge, there are problems. So diagnose the problem. Then look for actionable solutions. Actionable is very important. Just solution is not that. Everybody can come up with solutions. Is this actionable? Then find out and go and implement and see if you can measure this. And then monitor progress, and then be adaptive. Remember, really, many of the things that we will do cannot be done really that easily. So with that, really, I'll stop. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for this speaker?
Last.
Yes. Well, I can meet two questions first. Yes.
Thank you for this wonderful presentation. I work in education policy and personally on higher education and workforce development. So I have been working on this area as well. So thank you for the presentation. I have just one question. We were talking about transferable skills within higher education. Are you by any means suggesting a liberal arts education for Bangladeshi higher education? So in Bangladesh right now we have different disciplines. Students start right with physics or engineering. Are you proposing like an open framework, a liberal arts education for Bangladesh?
No, I do not make a distinction between liberal arts and then the engineering, STEM and non-STEM. These are essentially things we have created about 50 years ago. It really doesn't make any sense. By transferable skill, what it means really that basically you know how to think about a problem. How do you approach a problem? Does it need philosophy? Yeah, it does. Does it need logic? Yes, it does. If you think about Greece, so Greece is the place where we started talking about education really. At that time, there are only three things they taught. What did they teach? They taught logic, they taught philosophy, and they taught basically some mathematics. That's it. So now if you look at basically all the disciplines that we have, essentially there are three types. There is mathematics, there is physics, there is chemistry, and maybe biology. These are the four foundational ideas. Now from there, you can get all kinds of other disciplines. So when I say transferable skills, what I'm talking about that you need to have something I call a T. T meaning that you have a depth in one area. Depth could be philosophy. Then there has to be width. The width has to be maybe quantitative, or you go and take some class in statistics. So if you're a philosopher, but you have no idea really how the world works, it's not going to work. At the same time, if you're an engineer and you don't know exactly really how people think, that's not going to work either. So as a result, really, we need a synthesis of those two. When I talk about this, I'm not talking about liberal arts or basically STEM, non-STEM. These are artificial categories that we have created. We want someone who can understand the problem critically and then solve the problem given the capacity and the constraint that they have.
Okay, so now we're going to go to the next slide, which is panel discussion. Dr. Shafiq, it was a very insightful presentation. So do you need a 5-minute break so that you can re-energize and then come back? Or what do you want? I think we need a 5-minute break because we have limited span of retention. So why don't we take a 5-minute break? We are going to be back here. Right, it's now 18 after 6. Let's come back here around 6:25. Okay? 6:30, okay. 6:30. So if we're going to be back, we're going to be back here at 6:30.
Next week. Next week.
We're gonna have a panel.
Who is gonna present next? Oh, okay.
ভুলে গেছেন যে ব্রেকটা দেওয়া
Please be seated. Please be seated. We are going to start our panel discussion now. Thank you so much. Okay, have a seat. Then we can start. If you are part of the panel, please come forward and be seated. If you're part of the panel, please come forward and be seated. So we're going to start now. So the main theme, before I take the roles, we have Professor Abu Tahir, we have Raihanul Islam, we have Sultan Chaudhry, and we have Nasrul Qadir. So we have the panels here. Okay. So what we're going to do, we are going to have our main theme, which is sustainable education. And the sustainable education has 3 action items. So one theme, 3 action items, and every action item will have 3 questions. And the questions we generated, and we are going to throw the questions to the panel, and anybody from the panel can jump on, and then they can try to answer the question. Okay. So these are the parameters. There are 3 questions, each allotted 30 minutes, 20 minutes for discussion, and 10 minutes for Q&A. And with 5 minutes break between the topics. So if you're tired, we can take a 5-minute break just to re-energize. All right. So my first action item is sustainable quality education, building an equitable future for all Bangladesh, all in Bangladesh. So question number one. How can Bangladesh's education system balance rapid digital transformation with ensuring equitable access for rural and underprivileged students? Who can jump in and answer that? Anyone? Please.
I think the previous presenter was an excellent baseline of sustainable long-term growth. But I see, because I'm a technologist and also a business person with 50 years in different roles around the world. So I want to see how we can do it in a very immediate ROI, return on investment basis. So we would never like to, not never, it would not be easy for us to get the level of Western Europe or the United States. But today, our students who are living in rural areas on boats, in huts. So I think that the society, because of today's technology, internet and cell phone and what have you, that we can do the transfer of knowledge on a kind of immediate basis, baseline. I'm talking about highest achievement level. So, for example, I want to take the example of Jago in Jago program. I think they are doing cooperating with city teachers to the rural schools or students, because they realize there's the gap, as the professor addressed, rural and city, there's significant disparity, quality of education, and quality of students for that matter, and financial strength and so on. I think BRAC also has somewhat addressed that issue, one-room school, so we can copycat that. I also think that we like to give credit to the sustainable achievement Bangladeshi innovators like Jafrullah Chaudhry did after 1971 war on health issues because there's zero health. And he did this, and Fazl Hassan Abed, he did that. And of course, our very Muhammad Yunus did that with $27 to 42 women. So I am not a proposer of band-aids, but I think for a nation to make progress and feel confident, they have to have some visible, immediate results. And to do that, I think we have to use the technology. And of course, we have to do some knowledge transfer. The August body just here, we acquired certain amount of knowledge, capital, and affluence, and we can share that. And I have a humble proposal to do that. This Chittagong University Alumni Association could be pioneer, just like Professor Yunus did with $27. I propose that we, the alumni and the well-wishers, create a fund. Let's say $5 million fund. Many of us can afford $5,000 to $10,000 for a lifetime commitment. And that fund should be channeled to increase immediate availability of education in digital divide, as the question is, but also on basic knowledge, because our people, although we say 25 to 14-year-olds are 79% literate, they really can somehow sign the name. They don't understand, possibly comprehend. We have to raise that level. How do we raise that level? I don't think we can build a Harvard or any very pre-K level infrastructure in Bangladesh overnight. So I propose that every school, every infrastructure that exists should be made into 2 to 3 shifts. So overnight, without much investment, we are increase the capacity of institutional of learning. And of course, then we have to train teachers. That's number one thing. Nobody can give any and deliver anything without the quality teachers. So the initiative that whether CU alumni take and copycat others, just like microcredit has been copycatted around the world, it's like $200 billion lending, starting from $27. So we should really, I think, as a layman, I'm not an educator, but as I said, I have been fortunate to deal in 5 continents, over 24 countries, talking, proposing, and implementing various solutions. I like to see that based on our conversation, this August body, this alumni association resolve that will raise capital. There's no money, there's no honey, right? We can talk, all we can talk the talk, but we have to walk the walk by contributing, create a fund, and create one pilot program and replicate it. People feel confident. And I want to bring the example of Harvard, but still we should look up. There are $1.2 billion per year in 2024 of alumni contribution to Harvard. Just so Harvard is the top. The Chittagong University, and for that matter, Dhaka and all the university alumni who are here, fortunate enough to spare some money, should spare money. Without money, talks will not help. And I would like to address any question. I know I made it short, but very emphatic type proposition. I want to talk more on it, embellish on it, if you'd like to follow up. Thank you very much.
So the second question, what innovative financing model can make quality education sustainable while keeping it affordable for low-income families? So this is a finance question. How can you make it affordable for low-income housing, low-income families? Anybody in the panel wants to take a stab? You want to talk about that?
Thanks for his question, number 6. That is called innovating financing. Basically, this is a part of the financing question you know very well. In spite of them, say, for example, while I was working as a vice chancellor as well as member of the University Grants Commission in our country like Bangladesh, more than 40% of students, especially higher education, they are very poor background. Even in case of Corona, we start our that is called online educations. They have no that is called a mobile phone, especially that is taking the classes for that is called a smartphone. Without that is called no smartphone. About more than 42,000 among the that is 3 lakh students in the that is a public university. In that case, as a member of the University Grants Commission, we can introduce that is called that is a soft loan to the students for purchase the mobile phone. And they also that is called purchase the mobile phone with the help of the cooperation of all public universities as well as private in our country. And finally, they basically participate in that is called online educations. So that is very best example in our country. And uses that the first time introduced that is called soft loan to the students of that is called who are the not purchased that is called a smartphone to participate in the classes. So this is the one of the model that is just like a model. So far, I know that is for this university, that endowment fund is very big fund is so far I know. And I look at that is called Harvard Business School. Any students in the business, Harvard University, especially business school. Professor Sandara, one of the program make that is who are the basically poor students, especially in the Harvard University, but very excellent, talented, the basically funding. In our country, say for example, you know that Asian University for Women of Bangladesh, almost 20% female students from out of that is 17 countries also funded by that is called zero funding. And they must encourage the women's empowerment, especially 10% quota for the garment sectors. Who are the basically working in the garments, they have less income and they have no percent. If you visit in the Asian University of Women, especially in Chittagong, is very nice university who basically funding, especially the poor rural women in our country. So this is the another model. And last one that is called, we are talk with that is called Bangladesh Bank, because Bangladesh Bank in our central bank, they're helping the female students, especially in the higher educations. But they are not agree because our banking system is totally that is called a traditional banking system without collateral. But Professor Yunus sometimes say cholesterol. They are not funding that there is money in that is called a, so this is the phenomenon. Still, we are not there. Say some things for the look, but in the macro level, especially in our country. So, in spite of that, we are requested that is called if our alumni is proceed forward, especially to build up the endowment fund in the Chittagong University campus. That we are ready to that is called helping our especially for students with the help of Meda Lalon Fund. আমি যখন চট্টগ্রাম বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের দায়িত্বে ছিলাম আমি দুইটা কাজ করছি একটা হলো দ্যাট ইজ কল্ড মেধা লালন পান যারা মেধা মেরিট স্টুডেন্ট দ্যাট ইজ সাস্টেইন আওয়ার রিটেন টেস্ট or biopsy, but they are not admitted. Only 3,000 taka they are not deposit the money in the bank for that is called admissions, especially the female. So, and they are not that is called sustained in the campus. That is another issue in our female students, especially in the CU campus. We are trying that is called helping them. Thank you.
Dear audience, I would like to add one more points only. This is an additional information. I'm just agreeing with all the innovative funds that Professor Taher already spoken to you. This is the BRAC Bank. They have introduced a new scheme for the, particularly for the female students there. And when I was the Dean of Faculty of Business Administration in Chittagong University before my new assignment, I had a contract, I had an agreement with the BRAC Bank, and they have given the 300 female students it's like a scholarship or funding for those who cannot afford the tuition fees and everything. It's very huge amount, 5,000 taka in a month. So this is another initiative. Some people are coming up, some corporate houses are coming up. I think there are new financial innovative financial models will come up. So in this regard, I think that you people who are the alumni who are residing outside the country, they can also give us the idea to our corporate houses, our universities, so that we can make a good link and we can have a new idea about the innovative funds also. Thank you very much.
Just one second.
Private don't do this.
The committee will recognize keynote speaker for making such insightful presentation. So this is a sense of gratitude from the association.
Thank you. Thank you again very much. It was very insightful.
Thank you.
Is it time for it's very from the university? It's from the heart.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much. Are you going to make a point? Yeah, he's going to make a point on the second question.
First, let me be really very apologetic. I had another appointment at 6, so we're running way behind. So I already basically got delayed for my second one, so I had to leave. So sorry really for doing this. But I want to just make one point, I think basically that was raised last time. What is a creative financing model? And I think Dr. Sultan, I think, made a very interesting thing for you that he put you on the spot. If you're really serious, then create a fund. And I think it may be small. So what I'll give you a personal story that we are trying to do as a family. So Tipu knows, Tipu is also my relative now, is we created a fund. Basically, I have 18 nephews and nieces. So we have a very large family, and many of them live in Boston. So we created a basically family fund. Is called Roots and Wings. Roots meaning that I came from Bangladesh, wings meaning that many of them are in the US right now. No matter what is, so the guiding principle for that fund is simple, that we want to help disadvantaged Bangladeshi kids, and we tell them that we do not basically give you fish, we teach you how to fish. Very important. This came from Africa, really. If I give you fish, you'll eat it and done. But if I now force you to how to fish, then that will go a long way. Even if you start with $1 million, really, fund someone basically who is basically going to college cannot fund them. So as a result, really, when they finish, they will be able to support someone. So in the case that we are doing, we're not expecting any student who are basically getting funds. Only thing I'm asking them to write that when I become really more wealthy, I will at least support one student. It's not basically it's not an obligation. It is a free scholarship. But maybe 20 years from now, you will become very rich and you will do this. And this is exactly what Bloomberg did. Bloomberg paid enough money to Johns Hopkins. Anybody goes to Johns Hopkins, if they need money, it's free. Same thing Harvard does. Harvard has so much money in endowment that if you are poor meaning that your family doesn't have income less than $180,000, it's free. So we have to do something like this, and that would be very good really if we can start it with your alumni association. So thank you very much.
So we are running.
Point I can make on that?
Say it again.
One more point I can make? Okay.
Yeah. We are running really late, so let's zip through it. So third question: how should curriculum reform address both global competencies and local needs to prepare students for Bangladesh's unique future challenges?
Please say that again. What's the question?
Thank you very much. It's a very nice question, really. I'm getting interested in this sort of things, and I was expecting this sort of question in the seminar, really. All of us know that world is moving like anything, is very fast. So it's a now age of the AI and some other digital devices. But the country is running short of these sort of skills. maybe we have some rich people who can bring the AI and some robotics and some other things, so these are devices. But the problem is our students, they are not educated in that line. They don't have that much of skill, knowledge, and everything. So I think you, Chitting University Alumni Association, like other alumni association, should look into this matter, how you can help us in getting our students up to the market needs, where Bangladesh started to use the some AI and some other digital devices. It's like governments, we are doing very excellent in the governments, but you know, the more than 50,000 foreign experts are working in the governments because we are running short of that much of talents. The people who are getting the jobs in the government market, they're simply, we are doing the cutting and making. The higher post, senior post, everything are held by the foreigners, expatriates. They are taking away the huge amount of money, hard-earned dollar and foreign currencies. So I think all this is same in our education also. If we can introduce the AI and some other latest digital devices, and if you cannot train our students, we cannot give them proper education, proper knowledge in that use or application of these things in the our corporate house, in the business, in other institutions, that will be a challenge, that will be a really problem for us. So I think the alumni association come forward to fill up these gaps. Thank you very much.
Good insight. So our second action item is about public-private partnership. The question is framed as follows: academia-industry linkage to enhance the quality of higher education in Bangladesh. So question number one: how can Bangladesh's higher education institutions and industries co-design curricula to address the skill gap highlighted by employers, particularly technology-related fields like AI and robotic engineering? So I think the education system is pretty parochial. We don't change curriculum. Industry partners are not giving feed to the department. We don't have any advisory board in departments, not only business, engineering, liberal arts, everywhere, right? So how can we bring those folks to campus, tell them interesting stories, what kind of thing we are doing and where we're gonna go from here, how we can get this input to improve our curriculums, which is pretty much driven towards industry needs. So the first question again: how can Bangladesh's higher education institution and industries can co-design curricula to address the skill gap highlighted by employers, particularly in related fields like AI and robotics engineering? It can be degree programs, it can be workshops, it can be certificates and things like that. Who can answer that? Do you want to? Please be my guest.
Basically, this is a very nice question, especially that is asked, that is called in my presentation, academia industry linkage to enhance the quality of higher education. Basically, while I am working as that is called one of the project consultant as a member of the University Grants Commission funded by the Ministry of Planning. Basically, this work academically, university industry collaborations between that is to enhance the quality of higher education in Bangladesh. So to establish that is called this linkage, where that is called working in the university ministry, we are talk with that is Ministry of Education, we are talk with the University Grants Commission, we are talk with the university, we are talk with the Dean of the Faculties, we are talk with that is called a lot of that is called industry people, even where that is called invite 20 legend entrepreneur in our country, especially Samsung, or that is called a PSP group, or there's a BSRM or KSRM in the it's a Grants Commission to ask the question of what sorts of requirement is essential for that is to mitigate the challenges of the corporate house as well as industry requirement. They clearly mentioned that there are some skill gap between that is called industry requirements and the university graduates supplied by the that is called university. So on the basis of the directions that is called what are the essential is very important. Where one of the guidelines to the all public as well as private university clearly mentioned that at first you can build up that is institutional quality assurance cell is very important. First guidance that is called from the university. Accordingly, in our country now, 55 public universities, as well as that is called 110 universities established that is institution quality assurance sense. It's very important. After that is guidance, that is called, how do that is possible? We are also, that is called accreditation council. You know very well that is called in our country, accreditation council, accreditation council build a firm, and they're basically grading each and every skills. Our that is called a model clearly identified that is called a technical skill is very important. In the first presentation, you know that technical skill. And the last, our present government that is called highlighting that is called a technical school, technical college, political institution, vocational institution is very important rather than university. In Bangladesh, now there is called a 170 university in our country, and 4.2 million students are there in the higher study. Well, it is the number, in terms of number in the world context, that is the Bangladesh position is that is 8. But in case of that is called manpower recruitment, our one of the colleagues clearly mentioned that in the government sector, more than that is 20,000 people are employed that are outside the country, either that is a Philippine or Indian or Sri Lankan or anyone's. Especially how to develop this skill is very, accordingly, the government that is going to develop some professional universities, especially that is called a Bangladesh Textile Universities, BGM universities, especially that is in the merchandising, or there is and professional university, maritime universities, or aerospace universities. That is a professional university to skill the gap between that is called existing requirements as well as that is needs. So we must be that is going to change the curriculum. For example, my university, I was the Dean of the Faculty of Business Administrations in 2011 and 12. So if include one of the experts, especially industrial expert, but our constitution are not allowed. চট্টগ্রাম বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ে যে সংবিধান আছে, act আছে, which is approved by our national parliament, that clearly mentioned that you must be expert from that is called academic expert, not industrial expert. So on that is a main. So in our curriculum, especially in the business faculty, students stoic sense who are the basically executive chairman, Chitang Chamber, and one of the banks must be present in the curriculum committee design. And each and every 3 years, we have design our curriculum. In spite of that, this is not up to the mark at all. So you must be that is called encourage our that is called a expert in the campus to take some classes, especially practical classes. So you must be that is called match the gap between the industry requirements and our that is called university graduates. So these are the models. So you must be redesign your curriculum on the basis of that is called not only soft skill and that is called a hard skill. Of course, the fourth skill set, the fourth industrial revolution as per Klaus Schwab. In our graduates, they are not that is called, sometimes they are hard skill, okay. There's some soft skill, okay. But in case of decision making skill, problem solving skill, negotiation skill, service oriented skill, emotional intelligence, stress taking ability, this is very important. But this is the shortage. So we must that is called encourage not only curriculum, we also co-curriculum, extra curriculum, accordingly that is to produce the graduates up to the mark levels, and that must be survived and sustained in our country. And of course, Bangladesh go ahead to achieve your target SDG in 2030, as well as to develop nations in upcoming days. So in my presentation, hopefully you can details on the model. Thank you.
So I think, we are running really late, and I have one more question, but there is a related question which we have already discussed. So we're going to wrap up here. So I have a closing remark on the presentation. So as we wrap up today's discussion, I sincerely thank our amazing panelists for sharing their valuable insights, expertise, and perspective on our topic. Your contribution have deepened our understanding and sparked meaningful conversation that will stay with us long after this event. To our engaged and thoughtful audience, thank you for attending in today's panel presentation, for your questions and for your curiosity. Conversations like this thrive because of your presence and involvement. Before we adjourn, I encourage everyone to continue reflecting on today's key takeaways and to keep the conversation going. So don't forget this, whatever we're discussing here. Follow up with our panelists, connect with fellow attendees, and let's keep building on the ideas we have explored today. I strongly encourage everyone to work on turning our words into actions to create a better future for Bangladesh. On behalf of our host, Chittagong University Alumni Association, United States Convention 2024-25, I want to thank all of you for participating in this inspiring session. Please join me in giving a round of applause to our fantastic panelists. Enjoy the convention and have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.
Okay, I can speak from here. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Thank you for listening to our program passionately. We have a time shortage. We still have 3 panelists that have not presented, including myself. I'll request them to be very short. We have to leave this venue by 8 p.m. And also our moderator has to leave now. So I'm taking over. I would invite our Chittagong University prior Vice Chancellor, Mr. Abu Taher, to present his presentation. Thank you.
Atik. Atik koi? Atik আছে নাকি?
Atik, there.
এটা বড় হচ্ছে না কেন? হ্যাঁ। সরি। জি না 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 একটু মডেলটা আমি দেখা চাচ্ছি।
Is Atik here?
Atik,
Where did he go?
please. There is some technical problems. This one.
Yeah, let me just try to find for a second.
কি ব্যাপার কি?
Yeah, just go to the browser. It's all right, got it. আপনার কোনটা বলেন তো? এটা ফার্স্ট ওয়ান। আচ্ছা, এটাই। হ্যাঁ, স্লাইড শো করে দিচ্ছি।
Short করে that is called very simple, that is called our that moderator raised the questions about, that is called how to, that is linkage between, that is called academy industry linkage. So this is my presentation, especially that is called I can, that is not raise the questions, is very important. That is called, that is very important. Say for example, in Bangladesh, what is the actual situation of Bangladesh in 1972? We have started only 6 public universities in our country. Now that is university, that is called 170. Out of 170, that is called 55 is the public university, and 115 is that is private university. And out of that is called this university about for example this is a model, especially that is called 4.2 million students are running. So that is called researcher, especially that is called identify one of the models is very important. In this model, we can basically raise 2 questions. First one, that is called how academic industry linkage cells, that is called our quality education is very important, certainty of quality education. And number 2, what are the factors basically influence our education system, especially. So our tertiary, we can identify that is called 5 factors very important. 5 factors is very important. That is called first one, that is called organizational design factor. Knowledge transfer factors, already that is called mentioned some our expert. Third one, that is government support is very important, and collaborative factor is very important. Technology transfer is very important. In the meantime, one of the speaker clearly mentioned that that in our Bangladesh government is still in the education sector budget GDP less than 2% only allocation for that is called education sector. This 2% are not only that is called higher education, it also include our primary education, secondary education, college education, as well as university. In case in education, the ratio is that is called only GDP 0.87. It is the lowest in the India, lowest in that is called Nepal, even lowest in the Sri Lanka. So how that is without government support, is it possible to that is called this one? Our alumni cannot come forward to the campus to develop the endowment fund in the campus. So that is another situations. And that is called technology transfer. We already mentioned that how technology transfer. Most of the students, especially in the public university, they are not aware of their smartphone to take the class in online classes. So how is that possible technology? So which are basically impacting our quality education. And next one, that is called we can follow, that is called in case of research, basically we can follow one of the procedures. Basically, we can select some public university, some private university, some public enterprises, especially industrial enterprise, as well as that is called some private enterprise. On the basis of this guidance, at first we have public university, we can choose that is called Dhaka University, our first university in our country, you know very well, established in 1921, and my university, especially that is a state university. Accordingly, that is a private university, we can choose that is first our private university, North-South University. Second, that is called a Brack University. My house is that is in Sitong, and also the Fort City International University is also important. And in case of public sector, we can choose some industry. And finally, that is called findings is very important. That is called a sample size is very important. And also that is called a develop 40 questionnaires supplied to our respondents. Say for example, while I was working in this state, that is called in more than 20 years ago, we can distribute that is only questionnaire. Within 7 days, more than 100,000 respondents come up. But in our country, we can send the questionnaires, but nobody can respond. Among that's response, 400, on 170 are respond properly. But if you check up each and every documents, most of the respondents are no response in that is called inconsistence, or maybe they are lapse. And finally, that is called a 170, that is called 176 are sustained. And as per our research purpose, only 44% response is sufficient. That analysis, that is called very simple. And scenario, I can never say this one, this is very important. At first, you can understand the higher education in Bangladesh. You understand that is called first one, public university, 55. How many students that is called? If you look up in our country, especially higher education, more than 2/3 students in that is called our national university. You know that our national university is not on campus. That basically it's a lot of affiliated colleges over the Bangladesh. About that is called 2,226. In case that is, if my visit, I was a student of the Sitang College. Hopefully there are a lot of students in Sitang College. Only one teachers, he did that is college, take classes, intermediate class, degree class, honors class, master's class. আমি তাকে জিজ্ঞেস করতাম তুমি কোন ক্লাস নাও, তখন সে আমার বলে স্যার আমি কোন ক্লাস নিই না এটা বলেন। So this is the situation of the Bangladesh, especially higher education, where that is called more than 70% of students are studying that is called higher education. And say for example, recently another university that is called Islamic Arabic University, you know that in our country there is a lot of madrasas, and they basically control under that is called Islamic Arabic University. They basically Alim, Fazil, Kamil, there are a lot of degrees, but they have no teacher at all in the madrasa, in the right tracks. And next, another that is called Bangladesh Open University. That I was a treasurer in 2013 to that is 2016 as a treasurer. And also they open that is called Open University. Open is very nice. I also look up the visit in the British Open University. I also look up at the American Open University. Their system is very nice. That is called LMS system. They basically interactive virtual classroom to provide the teaching. Our Bangladesh, what are the Open University? Open University, if you visit the exam center, তারা বলে স্যার বই দেখে না লিখলে গুনাহ হবে। আমি বই দেখে না লিখলে গুনাহ হবে। আমার এক বন্ধু আছে, ইজ ভেরি নাইস। আমার এক বন্ধু আছে, তোরা ইংলিশ পড়ছ, নো প্রবলেম এট অল, ভুল হলে অসুবিধা নাই, কিন্তু আমি পড়ি আরবি, আরবি ভুল পড়লে এখনো সমস্যা, আল্লাহর কাছেও আমাকে জবাব দিতে হবে, সেজন্য ভুল লিখে যাবে না, দেখে লিখতে হবে। সো দ্যাট ইজ দ্য কালচার অফ দ্য ওপেন ইউনিভার্সিটি ইন আওয়ার কান্ট্রি, দ্যাট ইজ কল্ড সিচুয়েশনস। And next one that is called a private university. If as a, that is called I was that is called a member of the Grants Commission. 4 years I visited a lot of public university, private university. আমি যদি I can that is take the আমি স্যারের সাথে বলছিলাম, আমি প্রিন্সিপাল I can look at the principal say minimum 20 to 30 private university of Bangladesh immediately stop to ensure the quality educations. University grants are already blacklisted. In spite of them, they basically provide a certificate each and every students in our country. Still, this is the situation in our country. Government are not control because our private university owner, he is not only the owner of the private university, he was an MP, he was a minister, he's a banker, he's a, that is called a chairman of the bank, he's a chairman of the insurance, he's a chairman of the TV channel, he's a chairman of the newspaper. একের ভিতর 10 একের ভিতর 10 আছে না, একের ভিতর 10, একটা হাত বন্ধ করলে 9টা হাত চলে। So you can never do anything that is called in our country. This is the real scenario. In the American context, you can do a lot of change. But if you go to that is busy, that is the situation in their country. So in spite of that, you must be maintain the check and balance at any cost to ensure the quality education. These are the main motto of the private university. That is the last UGC report that is clearly mentioned that this is the last research report clearly mentioned that more than that is called that is called 4.2 million, that is students among very interesting findings. More than that is called 4.2 million, about that is called 70% students in our national university. If you look at the national university, is it process that we ensure the quality educations? Most of the colleges in our country, they are not ensure the quality education. Still now, so far I know. That is a, and next one that is called that is another issue. This is the very interesting findings. Interesting findings, they have clearly mentioned that 20 skill is very important to record the mitigate the demands of the corporate house within the country or outside the country. Their expectation, those who are basically employed, their expectation is very high. But there is a graduate, they are not key. Mitigate the demands of the employer. So there are some gaps. Always or all are negative gaps. This is the skill is required. Written skill, speaking skill, technical skill, adaptive skill. But they are not provide the skills in the right time. That is, universities failed to provide the skills among the graduates. While I was a member, that is called a Biba Bosi of the PC exams. As a UGC member, I asked some questions. What are the basic texts in you that is called subject? Most of the students, they are not mentioned the basic textbook in the that is called a PC, who are basically BCS exam in our country, the top level service. So this is the scenario. The most of the students in our country, they have sheet. And the sheet, what does it mean sheet? ওই sheet কতগুলো দেয় সেটা পাস করে যাচ্ছে আর question is very simple. There are no creative questions. All of that is called a pass and that is called a classes. That is important scenario in our country, especially the higher education. So this is the skill gap is very important. Our first speaker clearly identified that the skill gap mismatch between that is called industry requirements as well as that is called our education needs. So that is very important. And next one that is called a factor influencing. So we can in the model we can basically highlighting that is 5 factors. So you know that 5 factors. First one HR. First one that OBE, outcome based curriculum is very important. Number 2 say diverse teaching is also important. Alumni mentoring program. Say for example in Harvard University, so I in business school, they from day one they introduced the alumni mentoring program. What is alumni mentoring program? In admission of the Harvard University Business School, he or she admitted in the university. First day, that is called one alumni established in this alumni. They mentor 3 or 4 students from day one. Automatically, your graduation as well as that is called a knowledge about the skills in the right way and feed for the particular situation. This is the government support and everything that is called. We are University. We are trying to that is called a skill development center, but we are failed. I already talked with the National Skill Development Authority to fill up the skill gap among the that is called students of the CU campus, but we are failed. I also talked with that is called Alumni Association, especially Mr. Karim, please funding that is called to establish that is skill development center. And in that case, Taka 10 crore Taka is important, not only important, but our National Skill Development Authority clear we can develop the software, not hardware. So I request our especially that is called a alumni or that is industry owner to come forward to develop the infrastructure facilities to build up to mitigate the skill gap in our requirements. And finally, there is আপনার মনে হয় আমার মনে হয় এইগুলো আমি আর যাচ্ছি না জাস্ট একটু আমার মনে একটা মডেল আপনারা দেখলে বুঝতে আমরা যখন রিসার্চ করি তাহলে you must be that is called prove your hypothesis. That is called in case of that is called my research, there are 6 hypotheses. The 6 factors automatically supported in the quality of education. These are the requirements for the impact of the quality education. And finally, that is called then also that is called in some strategies that is called that such a study to enhance. Say for the top-down strategy is very important. There are 3 level strategy: top-down industry, bottom-up industry, and insiders strategy. There is a lot of strategies as per our discussion in the research report. On the basis of that is called recommendations. That is insider strategy. Conclusion that is called very simple conclusions. If we ensure our quality education, sustainable quality education, equitable for the immediate access, of course, our alumni, endowment for alumni will come forward, our industry come forward, and government also will support it to the higher education. And automatically, there is a mess between that is industry requirements as well as graduate employability in our society in upcoming days. On the basis of this recommendation, we must be identify some specific activities for Dean Office, for University Grants Commission, for Ministry, that is called, clearly mentioned there are some activities. They are the activities. There are support activities, that is who are these activities, who are basically that are short term, mid term, long term, who are the responsible. We can very clearly mention that is called develop. After the completion of the report, this report already submitted to our, that is called present government, but government can never take initiative still now. আমরা এই রিপোর্ট কিন্তু গভর্নমেন্টের হাতে আছে, দ্যাট ইজ এভরিথিং ডান। সো দে ভেরি আনফরচুনেট দ্যাট ইজ, সেই জন্য আই রিকোয়েস্ট অ্যাগেন এন্ড অ্যাগেন, প্লিজ কাম ফর অল অ্যালামনাই টু আওয়ার দ্যাট ইজ কল মিটিগেট দ্য স্কিল গ্যাপ বিটুইন দ্যাট ইজ কল গভর্নমেন্ট সোসাইটি। থ্যাংক ইউ টু অল, দ্যাট ইজ মাই শর্ট প্রেজেন্টেশন।
আর কেউ প্রেজেন্ট করবে?
Thank you, Professor Dr. Abu Taher, for valuable information. Our next panelist is Vice Chancellor of Premier University, Chittagong. You're welcome here in Harvard. Thank you. Let you speak.
Thank you very much for giving me the floor. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Very good afternoon or evening, I don't know, to everyone. আমি একটু পেছনে যেতে চাই, একটা লাইন 30 সেকেন্ড নেব। সেটা হচ্ছে, আমরা একটু আগে প্রতিটা আমাদের স্পিকার বলেছেন আমাদেরকে একাডেমিক কারিকুলাম ডিজাইনের কথা, কিন্তু যারা এই একাডেমিক কারিকুলাম যেসব প্রতিষ্ঠানে হয় তাদের গভর্নিং বডি রিডিজাইনিং দরকার আছে। এখানে আপনার সিন্ডিকেট বলেন, এখানে বোর্ড অফ ট্রাস্টি বলেন, দে আর অল পলিটিক্যালি চোজেন। এখন আমরা যে আজকে ইন্ডাস্ট্রি এবং একাডেমির আমরা যে কোলাবোরেশনের কথা বলছি, তাদের সঙ্গে আমরা লিঙ্কের কথা বলছি, দিস ইজ অলসো অলমোস্ট অ্যাবসেন্ট ইন আওয়ার অল একাডেমিক the boards or bodies or governing bodies, trustees who run the universities. So there is a, I think that there is a basic flaw is there. We should look into this matter. So I start, my title is The Breezing Minds and Markets, Academy Industry Collaboration for Quality Education in the 21st Century. আমি আসলে 2.5 পেজ লিখে আনছিলাম, আমাদের রায়হান ভাই বলছে ইট উইল টেক এ লং টাইম। আমি সেখান থেকে কয়েকটা এক্সাম্পল দিয়ে আমি আসলে এখানে অ্যালামনির সঙ্গে আমাদের অ্যালামনি কি ভূমিকা রাখতে পারে সেই জায়গায় একটু করে আমরা আপনাদেরকে আমি দৃষ্টি নিবন্ধন করার চেষ্টা করব। We are living in an era where knowledge is no longer confined to textbooks and learning is no longer limited to the classrooms. The 21st century demands agility, innovation, and relevance. Traditional educational models, while foundational, must evolve to meet dynamic needs of the industries shaped by the artificial intelligence, biotechnology, climate change, and the globalization. So in this context, academy industry collaboration is not a luxury, it is a necessity. At its core, academy industry collaboration is a strategic partnership between the educational institutions and the businesses. It includes joint research projects, designing curricula together, creating internship opportunities, exchanging expertise between faculty, professionals, and building innovation hubs on university campuses. These efforts aim to bridge the gap between the theoretical knowledge and the real-world application, ensuring that students are equipped with the skills, insights, and the experience that today's job market really demands. To better understand the impact and success of such collaboration, let us look beyond our borders at international examples. In US, innovation ecosystem have flourished through the tight partnership between the universities and the tech-driven companies. Boston University's Engineering Product Innovation Center collaborates with industry giants like Amazon, Robotics, and GE to tailor the training programs and provide students with hands-on experience. Stanford University's long-standing ties to the Silicon Valley have resulted in the student-led ventures, patents, and technological breakthroughs. These initiatives have led to the job-ready graduates, cost-effective recruitment for the companies, and a robust innovation pipeline. In the United Kingdom, knowledge transfer partnership have become a cornerstone of the education industry integration. For instance, Oxford University collaboration with AstraZeneca catalyzed the rapid development of the COVID-19 vaccine, a perfect example of how academic expertise can accelerate industry outcomes. Meanwhile, Sheffield Hallam University's South Yorkshire Future Initiatives works with the schools and local businesses to improve social mobility and workforce development. These programs benefit not just students, but local economies, the entire regions. Australia's approach highlights practical training and apprenticeship. The Deloitte Cyber Academy, in conjunction with the Swinburne University and the TAFE NSW, offers a learn and earn model that address national cyber security skill shortages. Additionally, the University of Adelaide's collaboration with Cowden and BHF support the PhD research, helping meet regional industrial needs. These partnerships ensure that learning stays relevant, local economies are strengthened, students get direct career pathways. In the European Union, multi-country collaborations address sustainability and innovation. The Your Bio Future Projects brings together academic institutions and bio-based industries to promote education aligned with the circular economy. Likewise, the AI on demand platform enables the cross-border co-creation of artificial intelligence solutions funded and guided by the EU support structures. The result is a diverse and future-ready workforce that promotes economic resilience and our country faces and technological advancements. Bringing the conversation home to Bangladesh, our country faces both great challenges and growing opportunities. Despite having over 63 million workers and annual influx of nearly 2 million new labor markets, graduate unemployment around 38.6%. These figures starkly reflects a misalignment between what our educational institutions produce and what industries actually require. Several barriers hinder collaboration. Many curricula remain outdated in relation to the global trends. Research facilities funding are limited. University industries rarely communicate strategically, and internship programs are still mostly unstructured and underutilized. Yet, there are promising signs that change is underway. Notable initiatives in Bangladesh include the Huawei and Buet ICT Academy, which provides the professional training in cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity. BRAC University has partnered with BSRM in Chittagong to support faculty development and engineering research, while Dhaka University is collaborating with Akish Group to innovate jute rating techniques. These examples showcase academia's willingness to evolve industries, growing interest in investing in the education. Thank you very much. I don't want to, I have cut short it. Still, I have the two other pages to discuss, but I don't want to go for them. Thank you very much. I have cited only the examples. There is room for the alumni. Thank you very much.
Thank you for valuable discussion. We have two vice chancellor came from all the way from Bangladesh. This is working or not working? Not working. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. So we had these two gentlemen, honorable gentlemen, came from Bangladesh to attend our convention. And both of them were vice chancellor, and one of them is former vice chancellor of University of Chittagong, our university that we're alumni or ex-students. And another gentleman, he's vice chancellor of the premier university in Chittagong. We are very honored to have them here. Thank you very much. You might have noticed that I'm also a panelist, but I did not speak because I'm watching the time. Because we have to leave by 8 o'clock. They will not let us stay here beyond 8. And also the parking, those who did the private parking, they close at 8 also, right? My presentation actually almost like a half an hour, but I don't think I can do that. Okay. I'm going to, my subject is the equitable education versus equal education. The equal opportunity education is you close your eye like a court judge and rules are same to everybody. So tuition is same for everybody. You're poor or you're rich. You have a degree, you have got the first division, or they got GPA 5.0. Those are equal opportunity education. But what about the people who cannot afford the tuition, who are handicapped, who cannot speak, they have a speech problem? If you put them in the same role, they cannot be educated, can they? They cannot. So it's called equitable opportunity education. That's what I'm going to talk about. I'm fortunately also involved with a program called Commissary is Necessary. What I do in Dallas, the people, especially African American men who are incarcerated, that means they are in jail, but their children, they have to go to school, they have to eat. And I'm involved with that program. Then I realized that how difficult for them to get 2 meals and to go to school. In Bangladesh context, I would recommend to the government of Bangladesh, education minister or secretary, he is minister there, or advisor, they call it advisor now, that in school, they should provide free lunch for the people who are really poor, they cannot afford school lunch. So you should have a free school lunch for the poor people. And also I'll recommend to government of Bangladesh to make the college education free. Same thing here. How we can afford that? Where the money come from college education? All you have to do, don't make one B-2 bomber. You know how much it cost, one B-2 bomber? $2 billion. It's 2,000 million US dollar cost one B-2 bomber. All we have to do, even in Bangladesh and all over the world, take some money from the defense fund and give the education free to the people who cannot afford the education. Make higher education free. Can we do it? Yeah, we can do it. It's the system not allowing us to do it. They want to create the class. They want to have a rich people versus poor people. The system is gamed that way. The system doesn't allow the poor people to excel, the handicapped people to excel. In Bangladesh, if you're a handicapped, you have no future. If you have a speech problem, you have no future. So our recommendation on behalf of Chittagong University Alumni Association is to the government of Bangladesh, if you're speaking, I'm going to talk to education minister about this, that why don't you cut down some defense budget and give that money to the people for the higher education free, those who are poor. So again, the equitable education is really important. Now we have an additional problem here in this country and also in Bangladesh. How about the broken family, children in the broken family? We have seen here time and again, the kids are shooting in the school. You know why? Because they are isolated. They don't have a social. Now, we used to say in the African proverb, it takes a village to raise the kids. But that proverb doesn't apply in the Western country. They are all isolated. So they go to school, they get bored, and they get psychological problem, they have gun access, they go and shoot the kids, other kids. And our country in Bangladesh, we are starting seeing the broken family as well. Slowly it's increasing. So the children of the broken family needs additional support from the society. If I'm incorrect, you can correct me on that. So my concern is equitable, because I'm involved personally with the people whose fathers are in jail. And we support them. We support their food, we support their school, and I also speak sometimes to them. And they're mainly almost 90% they are black men in this country. So that's what I'm not going to take much time. It's almost like a 7:40. We have to take some photo session after this. And so we originally planned to close this around like 7:30. We already beyond that point. And so if you, let me look at it, my point, maybe I'm missing anything or not, okay? So for example, we have a head start, right, in this country. So we need to do something like that in Bangladesh. The head start, the people, before they go to class 1, we have only the rich people kids can go to is called before the class 1, right? How about the poor people kids? They don't have any system. We start from primary school from class 1 to 5, right? How about before class 1? The rich people kids can go to the private school, right? So we have to do the same thing for the poor people. Okay. So I already covered the free. I'm not looking at it because if I look at it, it's going to take a long time. So we need the special education for disabled in Bangladesh. Those who are disabled, we have to give them support. Government have to give them support. Take some money out from defense fund. Just give it to them. We don't need defense. It's all offense fund. There's no defense fund. It's actually offense fund. It used to be called war fund. In the old days, it's called war fund. Now they come up with a nice word. There's a defense. We are defending ourselves. Nobody's defending themselves. They're attacking other countries. So that's what my recommendation to government of Bangladesh. I know that I'm on hot seat if I recommend that to take some money out of defense fund. Just take money out of defense fund, give it to the poor people so they can educate themselves. So we'll have a less crime. So I'm not going to continue anymore. I would thank everybody here for listening patiently. I know nobody's sleeping yet. That's a good thing. If you have any question, I'll take maybe 1 or 2 questions, and then I'm going to just close our program. I'm going to go outside and take some picture. We're going to go behind this building. There's a library. We'll take picture, and also we'll take picture at the Harvard, I call Golden Shoe statue. We'll take picture all the alumni there. So I'm going to adjourn. If you don't have any question, I'm going to just close our program. Thank you very much. Okay, bye. So we're going to go and take some picture outside. Oh, I have something. Okay, I have to give some. Okay. Crest. Okay, that's fine. Okay.
I'd like to request. Hello. I'd like to request, actually, thank you, everyone. Now we have to show our highest gratitude to our honorable guest who came from Bangladesh. We are so thankful you try your time and support and efforts for us. Thank you. So I'd like to request our chairman and our convener to the former vice chancellor, Dr. Tahir. Please take over just little things for us. Thank you so much. There is something for, yeah, yeah. Thank you. This is our. He's our another vice chancellor from Bangladesh. We are proud of him. Our premier, the university. He's the vice chancellor of the. Thank you, sir, for joining with us. There's something little for us. And nice. Take half, I think so. Sorry. This is only the latest. Now I'd like to request our chairman and convener to Dr. Sultan Chowdhury. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now I'd like to request our convener, not chairman. There's something very special for our chairman, Mr. Rahan Islam Chowdhury, who had a dream of this kind of seminar, not this kind of seminar, hundreds of this kind of seminar in future, who bonded us, who inspired us, such a great leader, our leader, Rahan Islam Chowdhury. I'd like to request for our.
I'm also asking. I'm also
Our first lady.
Our member secretary.
No, I'd like to request our first lady.
Rahman Chaudhary. I hope so.
No, thank you. Our first lady is here. I'd like to request our first lady, Mrs. Where is Bhabhi? She's here? Oh, where is she? Because I'd like to request her to come here because we are sorry about that. We take over more than thousands hour from you because, you know, he came here more than several times. There is nothing for you, but I'd like to request our humble request to come to here. Please join with us. That's got a memorable frame. Please come here, please. And I need a round of applause from everywhere. Yeah. Please come here, Bhabhi. Please come here. Come here, please. Can I? Yeah, excuse us, please. Yeah. This is a golden moment for us, you know. From Rahan Bhai, this is for you. You can go over there. This is for you, Bhabhi. And then both of you. Okay. Hold it. Hold it. Okay, all right. This is a golden frame. And that was my dream. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rahan Bhai. Thank you, Bhabhi. Thank you. And I'd like to everyone, I'm sorry about that. There's a two scholar here, Dr. Muhammad Imran Karim. He's a child of MIT. He's here. Dr. Imran Karim, please come and join with us. And the Shifat, he's a Harvard child. Please, both of the Harvard. And look at, we are proud of this guy. They're from Bangladesh. See, he's a Dr. Imran. He helped us last year a lot. And Dr. Shifat. So yeah. So Shifat, he is very helpful. And the last time we celebrated here, you know, the Pahela Baishak, the first time in the history in the Harvard, he joined with us in the Harvard, the South Asia Center. And this is a proud of our alumni and everything. So thank you, everyone. Thank you. And I'd like to say something, the last words. Thank you to everyone, sir.
Thank you, Tipu and Janal Bhai, really working really hard to put this program. You know, there's a lot of work behind the scene that we don't see, and you're really working hard. And hopefully, tomorrow we have a bigger program, and we all. I know we are making a lot of mistakes here. It is weird, but we are trying our best. So I'll really appreciate everybody cooperating with us and forgive us if we make any mistakes. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye. There's a photo session outside, please. We'll go outside, take pictures.
That photo session, we are in some refreshment. for everybody. Those are, this up to you. We provide the food, dinner. If you like to take dinner at hotel, those are staying in the hotel. We can provide over there in the hotel. Or those are not living in the hotel,